I was diagnosed at the age of 26 with type 2.
Can I be rude and ask how old you are now?
I'm 40. Theoretically, type 2 diabetes doesn't normally come on till you're 40. When I was diagnosed with the flushing toilet, it was a rarity. So I actually became a little bit of a celebrity, going on radio interviews and bits and pieces, because it was very rare that somebody of the age of 26 had type 2 diabetes.
Why was that rare then?
It was the way things was, because either you had it from birth, which is type 1, or you got mature onset, which virtually was 40 and above.
So why did you get it at 26?
Don't know. Even though I regularly tested myself for diabetes, they actually found it by accident.
I'm kind of interested in what it's like to live with diabetes. If you've had it since you were 26, what made you regularly test yourself for diabetes? Were you thinking, actually, this is something that I might have?
Because I knew it ran in the family. And basically what it did was, my grandmother on my father's side had diabetes. It did a generation jump, which it can do. It can jump a generation, and basically that's how I got diabetes.
And were you feeling the sorts of symptoms where you were feeling lethargic, or you were feeling very thirsty, or going to the loo a lot? Were those symptoms which you could identify with, or were you just interested to see whether, what your blood sugar level was?
Well, no, I had the symptoms, but, I thought, they've said it isn't. I was rushed into hospital with a high blood pressure attack. And basically, when they did a random blood test, they said, "Oh, you got diabetes."
So what did that mean for your life then? Did you kind of come out of hospital and have to completely change your life?
Yes.
What did you have to do?
Well, basically, I enjoyed 2 sugars in my cup of tea or coffee. That stopped. Stop eating chocolate. Basically, I just went, right, I'll have to practice what I preach to my patients, at the end of the day, and so that's what I did. But as life's gone on, I've had complications. I fought for years not to go onto insulin, because I thought it'll be the worst thing I'd ever do. But as soon as I went onto insulin, yes, it was wonderful, but practically I lost all my entitlements for driving. I can only drive a car. That's it. If I want to drive anything bigger, I have to go for a medical, which only lasts a year, which is £100 a year. And then you also have to get certificates to say that it's fine for you to do it. So you're looking at lots of money. And this is one of the things Diabetes UK did. It says basically that we are discriminated against because there is no actual structure research into driving and diabetes. It was a blanket ban.
Is that because one of the side effects of having diabetes, or one of the kind of conditions, is that it will damage your eyes, or your eyesight will get worse over time? That they think, right, if you're taking insulin, then therefore your eyes must be going.
Yes, and then, yes, that is one of the things, but one of the main things they looked at is because you go on insulin, is having the hypoglycemic attacks.
And what is a hypoglycemic attack?
It's basically when your blood sugars go down so low that you become very tired, you lose your concentration, you don't know what you're doing, which can create car accidents.
Obviously. Is that really an instant thing? 1 minute you're fine, next minute you've dropped and woof, you can't remember the last 5 minutes?
Not really. What the national guidelines for diabetic for driving is that you're to take your blood sugars before you drive. If it is below, I think it's 5.7, you're not to drive. If it's, you're then to, try and get your sugars up so it goes above it, so then you are clear for driving. Basically, if you experience a hypo when you're driving, which happened to me once, you're to pull over. If you're meant to carry a bar of chocolate, a drink, your blood glucose meter with you and things like that. You try and get your blood sugars up, or if you're fortunate and you belong to a motoring organisation, can actually ask them to take you on, if you have the capability for it, they can take you on medical grounds to your destination.
And is there a problem if you have too much sugar? I mean, if you see that your blood sugar level is quite low and you think, right, okay, I'm going to have a can of Coke, I'm going to have a Mars bar, I'm going to have a banana, right, that ought to do it, and then your blood sugar level gets higher and higher and higher. Are there problems that you could encounter with it in the other extreme?
Yes, if it actually goes too high, it basically has the same consequences. Because having a hypo or hyper, as the shorter terminology is, if it goes too low or too high, you can actually end up going into a diabetic coma. And that sometimes can be reversed, and you come out of it fine and everything. But, there have been cases where, people have passed away because it has been too high. Because they go into a coma, because your body can't cope with it.
And would it be the case that if you had the things that I listed, if you did have a can of Coke and a bar of chocolate and a banana, that could send you over the roof? Or is it a little bit, it's not as immediate as that, it's not as direct as that?
Well, I wouldn't say have all three at the same time. Have it in, because when you need to check your blood sugar, you check it half an hour after.
You've eaten something?
Yes.
Right.
And then if it hasn't worked, give it another, say, 15 minutes, do it again. Then have something else to eat. It's always handy if there's two of you that can drive.